It is generally felt that shareholders are the supreme. Generally, shareholders' decisions are binding on every company. But shareholders' decision should be within the ambit of the regulatory framework approved by the governments, prescribed by the governments, under which, within which limits, parameters only the corporate organization, company organization, commercial organization to operate its activities, and proposal should be within the limits prescribed by the regulators. Also, the performance, the objects and activities of the commercial organization should be within the permitted limits of memorandum of association, articles of association, and shareholders' consent. Of course, shareholders' consent, all these are, first it should be with the consent of shareholder and within the permitted objects of memorandum of association and procedure followed by, prescribed by the articles of association. All these should be within the permit of regulations prescribed by the regulators of the government. Next thing is, who is superior above? Until now we have seen the shareholders, memorandum of association, articles of association and regulatory mechanism. Above that, who is the superior authority to regulate the commercial organization? Companies Act means laws, corporate laws framed by the, prescribed by the government are superior to the regulators, the memorandum of articles of association, decisions of the shareholders or board of directors. So, all the actions, policies, performance should be within the borders, within the limits prescribed by the corporate laws passed by the government, means the corporate laws, Companies Act, other regulatory mechanism applicable to the commercial organization. To ensure the safety to the investors and income, right share of income to the investors and liquidity facility, liquidity option to the investors as and when he requires. The basic requirement is the prescribed corporate laws or Companies Act and other related laws and implementation of those rules and regulations, provisions framed and policies. Implementation mechanisms should be stringent enough to see that all the provisions are implemented uniformly, equally, without any discretion or without any diversion, without dilution of the provisions. The main intention of all the acts and regulations has to be to ensure the protection to the investors and growth of economy, and all this should be achieved compulsorily for the benefit of investor as well as the commercial organization. If the activities of the commercial organization are not according to the rules framed by the Companies Act or other related acts or policy prescribed by the regulators or within the framework of memorandum articles of association or without the approval of board of directors or without the approval of shareholders, who is going to be affected? Who is going to be under loss that will incur? All these actions will cause loss to creditors and financial institutions. Means creditors means who supplied goods to the company, and the banks and financial institutions which lent money to the institution, which the commercial organization, and creditors who are to be paid by the company for their services or goods supplied are to be in loss. Also, there will be loss of productivity, means waste of resources. If the commercial organization is not performing well, it means underproductive or not according to the prudent commercial laws, commercial procedures, there will be underproductivity that leads to waste of resources, maybe human resources or natural resources or financial resources. And also loss to distributors and dealers and customers. The distributors will not get stock as and when they want. Dealers also will not get the supply from the distributors. The customers also will not get the quantity or quality, timely supply because of shortage or because of unproduction, non-production, because of disturbance in production and supply. Also, the loss will be due to loss to employees who may lose the employment or who may lose the timely payments. And also raw material suppliers, as stated earlier, suppliers who made supplies to the company on the credit basis, they may be in trouble or they may not get the money as and when they require as per their schedule. And also the government also will lose revenue, maybe in the form of indirect taxes, GST, or direct taxes or income tax, like that. The government also will lose revenue. The same way, the total industry, if one organization is failure, means there will be a bad image on the total sector, that the total industry of that line of activity may be in trouble, may be on doubt, and also that affect the development of that section of industry as a whole. Other losers are investors' confidence. If one investor lose money in one commercial activity or commercial organization, then he will be careful and others will be careful to invest, to keep away from the investment in that commercial organization or in such activities or such type of industry, which will cause damage to the total investors' confidence. So it is important to protect the investors' confidence. And also there will be a loss of goodwill to the company and its group. Suppose a company is under one group of many companies and that company performance is not good, entire group image or goodwill will be affected and the investors' confidence may be affected to invest further in that group, or investors may be opting to come out of the investment and trying to destabilize the commercial organization. Also, there will be a loss of quantity and quality. Because of underproductivity, the direct effect will be on the quantity and quality. Quality will be reduced and quantity will not be supplied as and when the requirement is there. There will not be timely supply as quantity required, and also the price may be affected. All this will affect the quantity and quality. Also, one more suggestion is delisting. Many companies which are not in a position to comply with the requirements of SEBI or regulators or corporate laws, they may be delisted by the stock exchange so that the investors cannot opt to sell his shares. So we suggest that any non-compliance is there, try to collect it, try to make it comply by the company, but don't delist it from the stock exchange, because that is the only option available to the investor to get rid of his shares, to sell his shares. So the delisting option should not be closed at all for the safety or the protection, for the welfare of the investor, because that is the only option available to investor who is a small investor, maybe medium investor, who is not directly involved in the management of the company. He should not be punished for losing the money. Means the delisting should not be encouraged, they should not be allowed at all. What are the complaints is there? The complaints has to be made from the management, internal management, functional management, but not at the cost of investors. So daily management is different, this investor is different. Investor has to protect it at any cost, and management is to be made compliant, and non-compliance should not be the cause of delisting. Non-compliance is failure of the management, but there is no fault of investor. So investors should be kept safe from the non-performance, underperformance, defective performance of management. Performance. Also, the investors should analyze the performance through proper, regular, correct information provided by the commercial organization, and that analysis will make him to take decision to invest or to take risk and to get rid of that investment. So the performance is important. Means the productivity of the resources, financial resources, material resources, human resources invested should have highest return and highest production or highest productivity. That will earn more profit to the commercial organization, and that will make the investor more happy and more profitable. It will give more gains to the investor. And one more thing is industry investments, that is investments in actual manufacturing sector or actual wealth creation sectors. So whatever the money invested by the investors should go directly to the wealth creation, manufacturing, infrastructure state, but not to the speculative market, which is indirectly affects the performance. Means that if the money is invested in shares, the money will, if issued by the company as IPO, the money will go to the company. If the shares are purchased from the seller, the investor will be opting to come out of that investment because of his requirement. The new investor will come. Means the investment is not affecting to the company. If that is made on speculation basis without actual delivery, who is going to benefit? Only speculators will benefit. It will go away from one pocket to other pocket. It is not going to add any value, wealth creation or industry or manufacturing sector or employment creation, generation, wealth creation or anything. So all the investment should not be allowed to go to speculation market. All additional funds available to speculation market will add speculative prices, add speculative only, but not to create wealth. There is no meaning in encouraging speculation market, speculation business, which is against the economic prudence, economic discipline of any economy. Next, foreign institutional investors. Generally, very many companies, many investors will invest in Cross-border investments means the Indians may be investing in US and US may be investing in Australia, Australia may be investing in Japan, or Japan may be investing in India. Cross-border investments, that is foreign institution investors, they can invest, but it should be though all those investments should come directly to the industries, manufacturing sector or wealth creation sector, infrastructure sector, but not the speculative market, means they are purchasing shares in the market and speculative base, not on the actual delivery base also. That is more dangerous to the economy. So the all money from the foreign institutions, all money investments received from the foreign countries should be only for wealth creation, but not for addition to speculation. That should be the concept of every regulation, and that will add more value to the more strength to the economy. And also sometimes foreign institutional investors may play game. They invest when the price is low and when they go out when the price is up. There is no speculation, means if they invest for shorter period, it unnecessarily disturb the performance or price of the economy, price of the share, and that will disturb the share market economy. So foreign investments should be at least for some period, and it should be for regulated exclusively for wealth creation. Period should not be less than at least lock-in period of 3 years, so that the foreign investments should be helpful to create wealth, infrastructure, generate employment. So if the investments received from foreign countries or foreign investors is for shorter period, that may create only speculation, but there is no additional wealth creation. That frequent investment or disinvestment will cause disturbance to the entire image of the country, as well as industry, as well as the who invested for longer period, and that will affect the entire image of the investment destination of the country.